IVM.
चलिए प्रारंभ करते हैं
कार्तिक अय्यर की आवाज में अगला गाना।
पहले हम प्रार्थना से शुरुआत करेंगे।
इन द जंगल
हमको मन की
go let's go.
Hello and welcome to yet another special episode of Football Shootball, because obviously this week we've had some things going on, so this is pre-recorded, FYI, and I have with me, running down the left wing, like Thierry Henry, Shivram Parmeshwaran, and on the right wing, who comes in as an inside forward, doesn't hold his position well, is Gaurav Sapre. And I'm obviously a box-to-box midfielder. All action, central midfielder. I'm Karthik. And this is about the best teams, the best 11 Premier League side of this decade. Now, why are we sticking to just this decade? Guys, do you know what this decade is called, by the way? Like, we had the 90s, we had the noughties. What is the 2010s called?
Tenzies.
No.
Tenzinias.
Well, but Tenzies would have been good.
Yeah.
Sapre?
teens.
Oh, that's also better than the actual name, which is 2010s.
Oh, wow.
Why is that even a name?
Or just the tens, it seems.
Tens.
But then number 10, will we have a number 10 in our side? We'll wait and see. So, moving forward with this episode, we're going to pick out the 11 best players, probably a substitute bench as well, and maybe even a manager that have lit up the Premier League from 2010 onwards till midway through the 2019-20 season. Let's get on with it, but first, it's time for a break.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. If you are not following us on social media, please make sure you do. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. After crossing 10,000 on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, this week we crossed 5,000 followers on Twitter. If you aren't following us on Twitter, please do. Make sure that you see all the cool stuff that we put out there. We do some cool stuff on social media, just generally. You should check it out. This week we are launching a new show called Heal and Hearty. It's hosted by Rachna Chachi, nutritional therapist and certified cancer coach. She helps you understand the right nutrition, exercise, and lifestyle that keep diseases away. Show premieres on Tuesday, 15th October. In case you missed it, do check out our daily policy podcast called All Things Policy. It's hosted by the researchers at the Takshashila Institute who break down complex economic and geopolitical ideas through the lens of current affairs. New episodes are out every single day. It's a fun show. Do check it out. On the scene and the unseen, Amit Verma is joined by frequent guest Vivek Kaul. They break down Ponzi schemes in light of the backlash against Oyo. On Feeding 10 Billion, Varun and Ramya are joined by Gauri Devi Dayal. She's the co-founder of The Table, Mac Street Kitchen, and co-host of the Kolaba Cartel. Check that show out if you haven't, but they discuss sustainable dining on this one. On IVM Likes, Abbas, Ritika, and Antariksh talk about their biggest celebrity crushes from the past and present and recommend some films and podcasts that are worth your time. On Know Your Kanun, Amber talks about the Data Protection Act and the need for specific legislation. On Mr. and Mrs. Binge Watch, Janice and Anirudh talk about the Netflix show Unbelievable. Tune in to hear where it ranks amongst the greatest cop shows. On Paperback, Rachita and Satyajit talk to the founder of the Positivity Company, Birender Aluwalia, about the PERMA formula of happiness and how to be more optimistic. It's a crossover episode on the Empowering series as Ratasha Rathore, host of Agla Station Adulthood, joins Arena. She talks about body positivity, adulting problems, and why it is important to inculcate self-love. And with that, let's get on with your show.
Okay, welcome back to Football Shootball, and we're in our positions, but now we have to pick the positions that we've probably never played at. We'll start with a goalkeeper from the 2010s. Guys, any idea? Is there any doubt with this one?
Not in my mind, absolutely not. It has to be David De Gea.
David De Gea, yes.
Not just an incredible career he's had at United, but also a good addition to the Premier League. Spanish goalkeepers have always done well. I think Pepe Reina at Liverpool did well. De Gea just hit it out of the park. He's been so consistent throughout his career.
And there's one Premier League title in this.
Unfortunately, one Premier League title is won.
The 2012-13 season,
yes.
Alex Ferguson's last
season is the only title he's won. But he's been in the team of the year for the long. I think he's the one guy who's consistently been on the team of PFA team of the year. There have been good goalkeepers. There's been Joe Hart,
Thibaut Courtois.
Edison's been doing really well. But David De Gea, just with his consistency in this decade, for me, I think is unchallenged for that position.
I completely agree with you. Shivram, do you disagree?
For once I don't, but my bet is this is going to be the only United player in the 11.
I hate it when Siva is right.
In fact, I actually have a United player, so we'll go to the next position.
A new best friend.
We'll start with left back, and my choice for that is Patrice Evra. I mean, in this decade, United have won the title twice. I think 2010, 11, and then Sir Alex's last season. And I thought Evra, even though he was at the twilight of his career, really stood out for this side, which was aging, which was going towards the position they are in today. So I think Patrice Evra was the best left back. Now, I'm guessing none of you all agree with me.
So one thing I just want to clarify. Winning titles and winning trophies, at least for this exercise, shouldn't be a qualifier. Right? So my submission, and I'm sure you'll be surprised by this name because you haven't heard about him for a long time now. Leighton Baines.
Everybody's heard of Leighton Baines, and so I think it's a good pick. Yeah. But why would you pick him over Patrice Evra?
I think he played in that Everton side, which was there or thereabouts always. And Everton continues to be my second favourite. They also bought Walcott, which was Arsenal's second favourite child for the longest time. But I think Leighton Baines has, and now with Digne, who plays a similar role, that fullback before the Premier League realised we could use fullbacks in such a manner. Box to box like Karthik Iyer, putting those crosses in, getting those assists in, scoring those screamers. So that's because Siva's going for longevity here. Guy who's been consistent throughout. Yeah. He'll probably bring in Gareth Barry next.
I'm sure.
James Milner.
Yeah, I think for me also it's a choice between the two players that you mentioned, but I will still go with Patrice Evra.
Woohoo!
He continued with the successful team that United had built.
So we're doing one thing that Siva didn't want and shoehorning another United player to this level.
Yes, absolutely.
See you guys, this was great.
No, but I get where you're coming from. It's not about the titles that you won. It's about the impact that you've had on the team and on the league. French captain, they didn't do very well in that World Cup.
Yeah,
obviously. But he continued to be that player. He's back now in the Premier League, trying to do something with United. So for me, he still stands out.
Okay. So we'll bench Leighton Baines for now, and we'll keep Patrice Evra in
both of you can bench yourselves. So your solo host is me. I will just read out my team and then that's it.
Okay, we'll give you a chance now to pick up a centre back.
A centre back. Go for it.
And I hope it's different from what we have.
I mean, this will.
But I highly doubt.
This is one of the most obvious ones, and very recent. Also, everyone's seen him play throughout the 2010s. Is Vincent Kompany.
Oh yes,
standout captain, leader. Towering figure over everyone in the City team for the longest time. Kept them together. Played all of the seasons after the money came in. Stuck with the team, did really well. Scored the winner last year. That screamer that got
against Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah. With Van Dijk was struggling to score against other teams, but I think Kompany did have that catalyst figure. Like he's a captain, right? A club captain, team captain on the field. Just brought everyone together, and he's that figure that probably like an Arsenal or a United would love to have today. So but that's an easy guess.
I think after De Gea that was the easiest pick of the lot.
Yeah.
Agree with everything that you said. Also, he's like we're talking about impact that you bring. He's one of the nicest people.
Yeah, incredibly sweet.
Incredibly sweet. Does a lot of things for the community in Manchester.
Yeah,
and rightly said, came from Germany. When the money had just come into the city, but he was not sure what's going to happen with the team, but he's stuck there and he built the team around him.
I don't know if you watched the All or Nothing on Amazon Prime.
Of course.
Yeah. If you're listening Amazon Prime, this is... we are looking for sponsors. If we are still looking for sponsors.
Yeah, they sponsor Cyrus's show. They can come here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If you watch All or Nothing, you see that Vincent Kompany is basically sitting with his father-in-law and enjoying a game of football. Mm-hmm. So I know it's some amount of propaganda also. Like, look at the human side of these.
But you know why he gets to sit with his father-in-law? Because the guy has been injured more often than not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so typifies Vincent Kompany that for his own testimonial, the guy is injured.
How unfortunate is that? But that's Vincent Kompany.
And his speech was awesome. He was so self-aware. He's like, it had to be.
Yeah, and I'm injured. I will set my own testimonial out. That is legendary.
And I know you guys you're not putting that much importance on titles, but it will be remiss not to say that City have won the title 4 times in the 9 seasons that we've had in this decade, with him leading the side, I think, each and every time.
Yeah, and a famous manager once said, I will not name the manager, strikers win you games, defenses win you titles. I don't know who said this.
We'll need to Google this.
No, this is Sir Alex Ferguson.
Okay.
So clearly United fans don't know what their manager said once.
I was waiting for you to answer.
मुझे पता था, मैं तुम्हारा वेट कर रहा था बोलने का. Very nice.
He's written 2 books already. How much to read? Yeah.
Correct. He's thrown shoes also.
So we're starting with company. We're starting with company in the center of defense. And who will partner him there, though?
Again, a lot of options there. I'm too tempted to, again, name a United defender, but I won't. But because I want to go for John Terry.
Oh shit, I was going to say John Terry too. Oh damn.
No, come on.
Why? What's wrong with John Terry?
A guy did jack in this decade. Yeah, like.
I think he did a lot.
He did quite a lot.
Unless you're talking... Do you have Wainbridge in your defense?
No. Then you're okay. Then you can shake our hands.
Yeah. Then it's valid, whatever you have to say.
Wait, what were you coming up with?
I might thinking of John Terry. He was in the Mourinho's first... the previous, going from 2004 to now. I don't think he was very great in this decade. My pick, honestly, for this is Robert Huth because of that one season that Leicester had and they won the league title.
Fair enough. That's a good pick.
Robert Huth.
I will change my answer to Robert Huth. Robert Huth it is. Yeah.
Also, he played at Chelsea, right?
He did before, not very successfully.
Yeah.
Because Terry was there. Right?
Yeah.
Take care of your vibes.
So we're going with Robert Huth with Terry benched, or we'll probably keep him in the reserves as well. I don't really like John Terry.
Yeah, you can make him player manager if you want. He's ready.
No.
We'll use Robert Huth as a differentiator.
Yeah, differential. Yeah, the FPL.
And John Terry can be the guy who, when this side obviously will win the title, he can wear the jersey and come on and lift the trophy.
Yeah, that was the Champions League, wasn't it? When was that?
Yeah, he did it twice actually. I think once in the Champions League, then the Europa League.
Yeah. Arsenal has never had that opportunity.
Okay. So we're going with Robert Huth?
Yeah, we're going with Robert Huth. I think Leicester, that one season, I mean, it's 500 to 1 chance.
5,000 to 1.
5,000 to 1 chance. So, I mean, can't argue with that and those odds.
So there's only one position left now. Karthik.
Yeah, and this I struggle with. I really don't know one right back that stands out more than the other. So you guys can probably take this.
I have one more Chelsea player. I know John Terry is not included, but Ivanovic.
That wasn't the Chelsea player I was thinking of. Okay, Ivanovic, Branislav Ivanovic.
Yeah.
Yes.
I am thinking of the player who knocked him out is Cesar Azpilicueta.
Nice.
He came in as a young guy. Hasn't played as much for Spain, but you can't really get anybody out of that Spanish national team.
Yeah, that's true.
Hardly played 25 matches, I guess, for Spain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But he's 30 right now. He came in as a young defender.
And you saw him play over the weekend, right? Like the game they played against Liverpool. What a game he had.
Also in the recent title-winning side under Conte, he had a massive part to play.
Yeah, I agree.
So, for me, it's Azpilicueta. But, the others are far more certain in the defense and the goalkeeper. This one, it's still a little dicey.
Yeah. I liked Ivanovic's presence. Like that, he was built to be that guy, but he also had pace. And it's very rarely you have that combination where you're top-heavy, but you still have that pace. And I think he made a huge difference having that counter-attack for Chelsea.
So how about this, Shiva? We'll compromise with you, because Ivanovic can play central defence as well.
Yeah.
We'll remove John Terry if he was ever on the bench. We'll keep Ivanovic there because he can be a central defender or a right back.
Yeah.
But no Kyle Walker?
I'm just torn because he's a Tottenham player.
Used to be a Tottenham player. He's gone and he's... But no, Azpilicueta?
Yeah. No. He's had a good impact. More at City than at Spurs. This season, I don't know. He's yet to pick up. He's great going forward. Actually, defensively, that's also the reason why City spent a lot of money on getting a cover.
Yeah.
And Cancelo they got from Juventus. Yeah. You wouldn't have bought
who's an even worse defender than Kyle Walker. The guy only goes ahead.
But that's the reason for me why Kyle Walker doesn't. But definitely a part of the consideration list.
So, but we'll stick then, which is we have to decide right now.
I think Azpilicueta.
Azpilicueta.
I'm surprised that the one name that could have easily cropped up in defense and a United player is Nemanja Vidic.
Yeah, so right I said the reason he played the last 5 years in the previous decade. And
if it was
that's the reason why I didn't pick up either him or Ferdinand for that matter.
If it was the previous decade where United won those 3 titles back to back to back, we'll probably have to name the 11 from there.
And Andre.
And Andre.
And of course.
And Bergkamp.
I put a Vieira
and Perez. And Vieira also. Gilberto Silva, right.
No, but we're sticking with the 2010s.
Yeah, we're sticking to 2010s. Sorry.
So we have
10s.
So just to summarize, we have David De Gea in goal.
Yeah.
We have Patrice Evra as left back, Baines on the bench.
Yeah.
Company we all agreed.
Yeah.
Terry's on the bench.
No, Terry's out.
Terry's
Ivanovic has taken his
Terry's,
place.
so Terry's in the bed. Terry's in the bedroom. Hoots in defense.
Yeah, he's burning bridges.
And Aspilicueta on right back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's a solid defense.
Yeah, I mean, let's go to the most obvious position. Let's just agree. CDM, guys. Who is your pick for CDM?
I was actually conflicted by this because I thought Yaya Toure would be there throughout.
Yaya Toure would be more of a CM as opposed to a CDM.
So for me, my thing is I just have two central midfielders, which is Yaya Toure and N'Golo Conte.
Right.
So you're
I was going for Conte.
So you're 4-2-3-1 kind of.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm going for that, but if we're all agreeing with Conte as a central midfielder.
It's a pretty obvious answer. I mean,
Yes.
that season with Leicester, that season with Chelsea after that.
immediately, yeah.
So
that was
I just have I have Kante on my team. I just not as a CDM because I don't think he's a CDM, which is what also Chelsea managers have said. Even in that winning side at Chelsea, he was playing with Matic.
Yeah.
And that's why he's been successful in the three in the middle.
So are you going to nominate Michael Carrick?
It's
Best player manager
no. He was a good player, a very underappreciated player.
by everyone in the
But
world.
I am going to put Carrick on the bench. I don't have an out-and-out CDM.
What? How does he get to put Carrick
take
on the
that under
bench?
consideration.
I am putting in what I
Our
believe.
people will get back to your people. Don't call us, we'll call you.
So okay. Just to cut this long story short, Kante, yes, not as a CDM.
I think
though.
we'll just say central midfield.
Yeah.
Central
And
midfield.
we'll pick a formation maybe once the 11
right.
come
Yeah.
together.
Then
So-
I would want to put Toure in that level.
along with
yeah.
him.
For sure. Like
sure.
Kante and a Toure, I mean, that's the end of the world for you. Then there's no point now. Why do we need defense?
Yeah.
It's just these two in the middle. And everyone's an attacker.
Yeah. So these two for me as well in
okay,
the
great.
midfield.
That's pretty awesome. And then you probably don't need a out and out central defensive midfielder because either or can do the job and the
Yeah,
other
they'll
one
keep
is
falling back
running
and forth,
ahead. Yeah. That's no Jorginho, right? Like we don't need those sideways passes.
What?
So-
No. We want the ball to go up from time to time.
No Sari balls yet. Happened. Tried to make it happen for one season, didn't happen for some
Yeah.
reason. I have a third central midfielder.
Okay.
I'm hoping that you guys also have him on your team. Is David Silva?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
He came into this team at the beginning of this decade.
I was actually very conflicted between David Silva and I was almost very tempted to say Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Because now look at the team, right? Has to have some balance. Now we have two like CDMs, CMs, whatever. You have to have a CM.
See, this is an FPL team. You go for points, right?
But Kevin De Bruyne, dude, those
My only black mark to Kevin De Bruyne is the fact that one season where he didn't play and they still
Yeah.
won the title, whereas Silva has been around
forever. Fair.
forever. That
Which was last season.
Which was, yes,
at City.
2000.
So by tenure, we'll give it to Silva. And
By
put KDB
tenure.
on the bench.
Yeah.
So KDB will come on the 60th minute and then he'll actually make
Win
shit
the
happen.
game.
Yeah.
2 assists and 1 goal.
I think Silva's at an age he's not playing the entire 90 minutes
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, yeah. He's anyway going off.
Also, it's his last season.
Yeah.
He's going to the US after this.
Yeah.
Good luck to him.
To holiday and play sometimes both at the same time.
Duty free se daru le aana.
But this is good. We have literally agreed, I think, on 7 players. Let's do the team once again. It's David De Gea in goal. Right back, I forget.
Aspilicueta.
Cesar Aspilicueta, Vincent Kompany and Robert Huth in defence. And at left back, we have
Patrice Evra.
Yes. In central midfield, there is Yaya
Yaya
Toure
Toure.
and N'Golo Conte. Oh, that just sounds so
Oh,
good.
it does, doesn't it?
Ahead of them, as a central attacking midfielder, just floating behind the 3 strikers that we're probably, the 3 attackers that we're
Yeah.
probably going to have, is David Silva with Kevin De Bruyne on the bench.
Yeah, Kevin De Bruyne on the bench.
Also
And-
Carrick, right? No, Carrick.
No Carrick. Carrick is with Terry wherever, the bedroom or whatever they are.
Carrick will nominate assistant manager. So to John Terry.
Just before we get to probably the most interesting part of it with all these awesome forward attacking strikers and attacking players that we have had,
Yeah.
let's just take a short break. We'll be right back.
This is the amazing story of something awesome. Once Chuck decided to start a podcast, and so he did. The end. Okay, that was a crappy story. But I've got some really cool stories over at my new show, The Origin of Things. On this podcast, I look at the stories of how brands came into being and sometimes evolved out of quite unexpected circumstances. And to make it really fun, I reveal the name of the brand and sometimes a category only at the very end. The show is 5 to 7 minutes per episode and perfect for trivia junkies and brand nerds, especially those with short attention spans. New episodes out every Wednesday on IVM Podcasts app or website or any podcast app or site that you happen to prefer. End of story, they lived happily ever after.
And we're back with the best of this special 11 from the 2010s, guys. 2010s. That's what we
Tensies.
call... No,
Teens.
there's no teens. There's no tensies.
No
It's
tensies.
2010s.
Okay.
People have
fine.
been very boring with the name of this.
Let's put tensies on the bench.
So we've had 7 players, but now we need the guys who will go up front and score you the goals that will win you any title in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Aguero, shall I just get it
just
out
get
of
the
the way?
obvious name
Yeah,
out of the way.
Aguero.
Sergio
Why would
Aguero.
we even- yeah. Why do we really need to do this episode? Just
Yeah.
Aguero बोल के घर जाने का.
But I like what is going to come now. Now I think there are a few players that have made a big impact. So we have Sergio Aguero as a centre
this is
forward.
the most obvious name. I think there's going to be another name which is going to be very obvious.
Arsenal player?
I said obvious. Not a reserve team. So Aguero, we not know.
I mean, no.
Yeah.
There's
So
no point
I have
discussing.
only one thing about Aguero though.
Okay.
We mentioned PFA Player of the Year. He's never won it.
Never
For some
won it,
reason, I
yeah.
don't think the rest of the players think he's very good.
Yeah.
It's only us fans here thinking that Sergio
Yeah.
Aguero is very good. How about Robin Van Persie?
I was just about to say that is the Arsenal player I was getting to, but you think of him as a United
No,
player.
no.
That's where you're wrong.
No, my reason.
I also, the other submission I also have, like it's not a striker, but he's like a CAM is Sanchez.
Alexis
He
Sanchez.
played such an, like Mesut Ozil, Sandy Cazorla, Sanchez, all of them make the cut for the
wouldn't you
bench.
think for Sanchez you'll also have to consider his dive down in the
No,
season at
absolutely. Which
United?
is why I said
which-
he's on the bench, but that the seasons he played, like what Robin Van Persie did.
So with Van
you
Persie,
can't-
the only reason is he only played for the first 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
Won everything.
But he got the
Golden
most
Boot,
goals in the
best,
season, right?
Best,
I think
best
both
goal
the
also he
seasons
got.
for
Both the
Arsenal
seasons.
the
Yeah,
season
and-
before, and then for
and
United he
United.
won.
So
the
from an
round.
impact standpoint, definitely yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to have him as an Arsenal player also.
Yes.
I appreciated him.
Fantastic player.
So are we two removing Aguero like
No,
Pep
no, no,
wanted
no,
to
no,
do?
no,
No, Aguero and Van Persie.
Oh, you want?
Oh, no. Okay, so let's log on Aguero.
Okay.
I know, and Van Persie,
we'll
or I'm going home.
Okay, so
I want one Arsenal player on this.
Karthik, it's you and me now in the studio. Shivram's left.
I like the pick of Van Persie. I mean, if we discussed Robert Huth, and he had one season that was
Exactly.
excellent, and I thought the impact Van Persie had in that particular
I
season.
mean, he won Arsenal no title.
Yeah.
Then he won United the title. So, and he had impact on both teams, and he continued across teams. So that shows great adaptability.
And I know this is not Premier League, but he took it to the 2014 World Cup as well.
Exactly. With that
and
amazing diving header.
Beautiful goal.
Yeah,
I
what
can't
a
was
header.
something.
That was meant for the cameras. Like, what a fucking header.
Because United boy. had the
he was
password.
diving and then
Okay,
he
I'm
headed
sold
it.
on Van Persie.
Van Persie.
We may probably have to remove David Silva if it's coming to that, but we'll get there. We'll
I
get
have
there.
a couple of other names also,
Yeah.
which are from Chelsea
Yes.
and maybe Spurs, ex-Spurs.
Let's close the Chelsea one because it's very obvious.
Yes, I think
And we have to
Hazard.
have him. Yeah,
Eden
we have to
Hazard
have
Eden
him.
Hazard, yeah. Even Chelsea would love to have him.
Yeah.
in their
Any
squad.
team would have loved to have him.
Hazard,
I think
yeah.
one of the after Aguero, I think amount of impact Hazard has had on the title-winning sides in Chelsea.
Yeah.
We spoke in one of the first episodes that we did. He played under 6 different managers at Chelsea. I think he was successful under each of them. It didn't really bother him.
Yeah.
Team was built around him. They had after Drogba, they had numerous strikers, but they didn't really care because Hazard was giving them the most assists and goals.
Yeah.
I hope he does really well at Madrid, or he fails at Madrid and comes back in the Premier League.
So we need to put Eden Hazard there.
We
Even
have
if
to.
I think the team, it's not looking very balanced.
Balanced.
At the top, and I think Silva is the problem here.
Yeah.
If we may need another central midfielder or someone who's
On the wings, on the left wing, who runs really fast,
Yeah.
past Mark Batra and scores in the final of the Copa del Rey, puts it through the legs of who was it? Casillas? Keylor Navas. No, who was?
Yeah, I don't know.
What are you talking-
Both
No,
are
no,
his
sorry.
teammates.
Both are his teammates, yeah.
Probably be Claudio Bravo.
Claudio Bravo,
at that
yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale, but I think I remember him from these last 10 years. For me, it's the Madrid days. It's
Yeah.
winning the Champions League.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I really can't. When I think of Gareth Bale at Tottenham, I can think of that 20-match losing streak that they had with him.
Yeah.
He's an awesome player. He started as a left back, then became a left winger.
Grealish also has a losing streak. Yeah, I mean,
He's
he's just
broken that.
Yeah, he's broken that. Yeah.
He's going back to it now. It's loss of the week.
Yeah.
I had a different player in mind to play on the right, which is Mohamed Salah. I know he's been here only for a couple of seasons, but he's got over 80 goals already.
Yeah.
And you know he's going to score 25 goals this season or 30 goals overall this season, because I'm sure Liverpool will at least reach, if not the finals of the Champions League, at least till the semi-finals.
My only contention with Mo Salah is, like with Sanchez, I'm thinking you also need to consider his time at Chelsea then, if you're talking about...
But
if we're talking about the decade.
He was too young. So then KDB also failed at Chelsea in that manner. Sanchez, I agree. He was at the peak of his career when he left Arsenal for United, and he slumped. I don't know in form. What happened? That piano fell on his leg. I don't know what the hell happened there.
Or bana heavy production.
But you're right. I think Mo Salah has done more than enough for people to just say that year at Chelsea was just a misstep.
I mean, any team you play against, and you have to have a couple of people just marking him
Plus,
out.
Mourinho keeps saying, मैंने बोला था मत बेचो, but अभी तो सर आपको भी बेच दिया.
And it's not, he played well at Roma before he came, so he's been playing well in this decade, and he's just shown that form. So for me, I want to retain Mohamed Salah on.
How about Raheem Sterling? The guy is
the most improved player, yes. Maybe he could be the first one to come out of the reserves and make this team in the future, but not just yet. I think everyone else in that team has done way more in terms of contributions. Sterling has just come of age under Guardiola. 1 season, 1.5 season, where he's become that player. But he was a problem child at Liverpool, right? So
also another, where he was at Liverpool, another player we could probably mention is Luis Suarez.
Yeah, Luis Suarez.
He played for 5 seasons. In 2015 is when he left for Barcelona.
Yeah, do you know he has more goals for Norwich
against
Norwich than Timo Pukki?
So again, we could look at him, but if you're going with a striker on top, I still would like to retain Aguero. But
we need to narrow this down now. There are a lot of names. I think Bale can be parked.
Yeah, Bale can be parked.
I think Bale,
just like Madrid have parked him, we can also. He won't mind, I'm sure.
On the golf course.
And so who are we looking at up top? Are we looking at a single striker and Aguero maybe playing slightly right or left of Van Persie, or the other way around, or just both up front?
Both up front, I think.
And then where does Hazard fit in?
On the right.
On the right. So
on
you
the
need
right.
Okay.
But when Hazard played on the right?
No, as in
on the left, cutting in.
That's what I meant.
Right. So Hazard out on the left wing.
Left wing.
Then you need another attacking guy on the right wing,
which is Salah.
I hope our defense is awesome. This side.
Our defense is awesome. Obviously.
Which are we going with Salah?
I like Salah. Yeah. I can agree with one Liverpool player.
In the 2 seasons here, he has made such an impact that.
I think also it's very recent, right? So that impact is really fresh, and you remember him doing so much for Liverpool, almost carrying them on his shoulders.
No, I mean, imagine being part of a team that can challenge City.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, which they did last season. This season, they're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Already a 5-point lead. Won the Champions League with Liverpool last season. So much of impact that he has.
No, I'm sold on Salah. I think
so. Now, we have removed David Silva.
Yeah.
Does he find a place on the bench then? Because I think David Silva on the bench, is he some kind of guy who you'll bring on, or is KDB is already there?
Yeah.
Do you need David Silva anywhere in this?
See, I'll tell you what is against Silva is that we probably haven't seen enough of him as a personality. Right? So you've seen him play amazing football. There are no two ways about it. But the difference between a Silva and a KDB, that reaction on field and how they carry themselves and how they're angry and they're disappointed and their arms flailing, and you don't see that from Silva. He's just tempered throughout. So there's not much of that actually, cuts through his skill. And these are all skillful players. They're the top 10, 11 of the decade. So everyone's got to be skillful to begin with. So I think if you're looking for a team which is like hungry to win, I would say KDB over Silva.
Okay, and no Diego Costa.
Oh my God.
This guy in the 2 titles, he had such an impact.
Ask an Arsenal fan, he'll tell you what kind of impact.
Red card Diego Costa is great, but he's not going to make the cut.
He is the reason why we don't have any Arsenal defender in the back four.
That's also true. Or but the one thing I think I forgot is we don't, as all Liverpool fans know, that you must have a good reserve keeper. Where is our reserve keeper?
Good point.
We just have David De Gea in goal, right?
But you never know when you fix the fax machine.
You mentioned Courtois. Should we... Thibaut Courtois.
I like Thibaut Courtois. Yeah. He's been pivotal for Chelsea for the longest time.
Hugo Lloris?
Great player. I'm a French supporter, so I can totally understand why he would make the cut, but Courtois over.
So who do we have? We have David De Gea, we have Courtois, we have Peter Cech, we have Schmeichel.
Kasper Schmeichel, the one season.
One
Yeah.
season.
But that by that definition, we'll have to consider Riyad Mahrez
but
and
that
Jamie
definition-
Vardy. And
No, but Vardy is, imagine off the bench, doesn't Vardy sound good?
Vardy
that-
sounds good.
that-
Now that I said it, it sounds good.
That's exactly what Gareth Southgate did at the World Cup.
Let's list. This episode is us listing every player in the decade that has ever played. Starting with Den Donker, Wanyama.
Hey, we don't have a place for Rooney. Come on.
Yeah. United also
Yeah.
didn't have a place for Rooney. Base diya.
So okay, so we'll go with Courtois.
We go with Courtois on the bench.
On the bench.
I think we're finalized. So should we start with the bench first, or shall we name the team once again?
We'll name the team.
Yeah, just
Who
quickly
names the
name the
bench
team?
first? Yeah.
Okay. Name the team, name the bench, and then we'll come to the
So
final question of this episode. The best manager of the decade.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So, and we're going now with, because we're all attacking, we're all,
Hot blood.
4-2-4.
4-2-4. Oh, this is FIFA.
I'm thinking of what kind of manager can handle that team. Wow.
So we have David De Gea in goal. I think he has been this decade's probably the most consistent and best goalkeeper.
Yeah.
At right back, why do I keep forgetting who is at
Cesar
right back?
Azpilicueta.
Cesar
Cesar Azpilicueta, Chelsea captain currently, and probably when he retires, probably a Chelsea legend, leader,
Yeah.
whatever the other things they say for the other guys. And in defense, I think it's an awesome defense, but I'm excited about this defense. It's Vincent Vincent Kompany.
Yeah. Is that how they say it?
I'm guessing Belgium, they speak French also. So
Belgium, they speak
French only.
No, they have like 3 languages.
Belgian.
Dutch, I think there is that one language called Belgium, and French, it seems. That's
Kafi multilingual.
So company.
Yeah.
Company.
And with Robert Huth, because of that one season. I mean, we could have gone between either Wes Morgan or Robert Huth.
But I think that one season we have to pay tribute to Leicester City.
Yeah,
So,
Definitely.
Yeah. So there, and at left back, we're going old school. We're going Patrice Evra,
Yeah.
who could be in contention for being the captain of the side as well. But we'll come to it. And in central
With
midfield,
Vincent Kompany in the side, you want someone else to be captain.
oh my word, I didn't realize that.
You want to live to see another day or no?
But I'm sure one is French and the other is Belgian, so they'll figure it out.
They'll talk to themselves. They're like, "Dad, Dutch में क्या बोल रहा है? Belgium में बोलना."
Also, see, team and all is fine. Once this team goes out and plays a match, company will be injured. So we'll need him the captain.
अरे but club captain ना, मतलब big player.
Yeah. So in central midfield, Siva.
No.
Who do we have? Central
central-
midfield.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yaya Toure
And?
of course the N'Golo Kante.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't need. That's why I was saying earlier. We don't need a defense. Like all of that is rubbish. Now. De Gea and all can fax his machine wherever he wants. And then on the right,
So we're playing 2 wingers, but 2 wingers who can also be those inside forwards.
Yeah.
Like none of them play as an out and out winger. And both come inside.
Yeah.
So you go with someone who's playing from the left wing coming in, will be
Eden Hazard.
Hazard. Yeah, of course.
Absolutely,
And on the right is Salah.
Mo Salah.
Mohamed
And
Salah.
up top, the 2 strikers of the decade, according to us. So this is, we should have said this a long time ago. This is actually the hashtag Football Shootball 11. And if you want to contend any of our picks, and of course up top are Aguero and Van Persie. And if you think any of these options probably don't make sense, you think you have a better choice, tweet using hashtag Football Shootball at IVM Podcast. Let us know what you think. You could probably draw your top 11 or like
Yeah,
take a
that would be
screenshot,
nice.
put it on Instagram, and tell us who you think would be a better team, better bench,
Just don't
better
put
left back.
Paul Pogba in there and come to us.
All United fans are like, Paul Pogba number. Arey, nahi, mana kiya tha. Just when I was about to write Paul.
So it'll be great, but now we need a bench of 7.
Yeah.
So we are, of course, our substitute keeper. We're going with
Thibaut
Thibaut
Courtois.
Courtois. I'm going to read out the 2 defenders that we finalized on the bench. It's Branislav Ivanovic. And if any of you guys are too young out there and you haven't seen him play, he still plays, I think, for Shakhtar.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
He does.
He is still good. Yeah, he still looks as thuggish and as KGB. Ish.
Oh, wait, by KGB, I just remembered.
Oh, I was saying KDB. My bad. Yeah.
I just remembered.
Mike में खराबी है.
No Zabaleta?
Yeah, he could. He
Oh,
also
yeah.
could have been
Still
there.
plays
My
at West
God,
Ham.
Yeah.
So many matches he's played. But has he been that impactful
With
in
City?
the kind of,
I mean,
no,
he
but
was
the kind of
pretty good.
defenders we're picking up?
I think Ivanovic gets it on the bench simply because he can do both roles. He can play
Correct.
in central
CB
defense.
and, yeah.
Because, like we said, Kompany is going to be injured at some point of time.
Yeah, okay. Fair.
But-
Yeah, so and Leighton Baines, that's a very good suggestion, Shiva. I mean,
Thanks.
I had forgotten about him, and now I remember his free kicks, his penalties.
Yeah, he
for
was very
Everton.
good.
It's
Yeah.
a solid player for
Solid player.
England and for Everton,
Everton as well,
in the
correct.
2010s. We, of course, have Kevin De Bruyne. So we have 4 substitutes currently. We have 3 more slots to fill. We'll probably need a striker.
We need one.
Yeah.
So Suarez, for me.
Suarez is a good pick. Yeah, I think
not
Suarez.
Diego Costa or Jamie Vardy.
No, I think Vardy
Oh, okay.
over.
Now
Vardy
it's
over both.
confusing.
Vardy over both.
Jamie Vardy over.
Off the bench. And
Right.
When
This
we're
is off the
struggling,
bench,
yeah.
yeah.
Vardy off the bench is
Jamie
fire.
Vardy, correct.
Fire. Yeah.
Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, we need a backup midfielder also, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And probably someone who's more proper defensive minded than.
Yeah.
I am actually now being.
कुछ लेते हो या दूं?
No, Carrick is suddenly seeming to be a pretty good.
मैटिच को भी लिख दो फिर.
No.
हाँ तो फिर अभी सब बकवास प्लेयर लिख ले तो फिर.
You're just sad because there's no Arsenal player on this list.
No, there
wasn't there any.
Torreira is very good, yeah. You gotta put
Scored a
Torreira.
goal also, no? Recently.
Okay, we're struggling with this. We'll need probably another. I don't know what on the bench. Someone who's good. Suarez. Just put him in there because he can
do everything.
Yeah.
He'll.
I think producer Slok has a suggestion for us.
Fabregas.
Says
Fabregas.
Yeah.
Do you have another suggestion?
No, I like him as a number 9. He'll be a good. He can play wherever you need him to play in the central midfield. So good pick. I would like to, because on the bench ना अभी जाना तो end में उसको Barcelona ही है, तो फिर खेलने दो.
But how much impact has he had this decade? Every manager seems to have benched him at Chelsea.
Yeah.
And he came on that one title-winning season. Him and Costa.
Spain played him.
I have
number 9 as
I have
well.
a suggestion. James Milner.
I love this. He's a 2-time Premier League winning player for City.
Yeah.
Now probably plays for the current best club.
And
he's the
place for
best
him is
athlete
on the bench.
He's
Yeah.
the best athlete in that team. Some tests that Klopp runs.
Yeah. IQ test.
I don't think he tops that. But he could be a good addition.
That's
That's
a good
awesome.
dependable rock solid player is a good choice. Yeah, always have like a dependable.
Also, Evra भी injured हो गया तो नया captain चाहिए तो then Milner
Correct,
can do that
Milner
also.
can play anywhere. Yeah.
That's
a good
awesome
pick.
scouting.
Yeah, well done.
Really good scouting.
Chalo, you've proved your worth on the show.
Oh, thank you so much.
So you can stay. Karthik, we're still waiting for you.
No, we're still waiting for one more. We have 6 people on the bench currently. We have Courtois the keeper, Ivanovic, Baines, KDB, Vardy, Milner, and we need one more.
Sandy Cazorla.
Santi
No,
Cazorla. We need
I
one
thought
more.
we had David Silva on the bench.
Oh yeah, but we said that maybe
We need
David
Arsenal
Silva.
player
We
is what
can't
we
get
said.
an impact from the bench.
Yeah.
So we said.
We're being very unfair on David Silva here.
Yeah.
That's, I think.
Fine, let's stick with David Silva. I mean, this is last year, so this is our tribute. So, Mr. Silva, if you're listening to this, you're on our bench, and we won't be able to start you because we are very, polarized against.
Yeah, but we also put KDB on the bench. So I mean,
हाँ,
we are
मतलब
someone
both
to
of you
talk
know
with.
each other. तो बात कर लेना. We'll tell you when you have to come. Just go warm up till then.
Unfortunately, we are not the manager of this side. We'll have to pick a manager now from the last from the last 9 years. Wenger in. No, I think Wenger has been an absolute failure in this decade.
He's a specialist apparently.
In that, so
Yeah.
it's tough to pick him. I can't look past Guardiola. I mean, I'm happy to be.
I'm challenging that with a
Okay.
Klopp.
Okay, a Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, I think he's not had that much time in the last 3-4 years last 10 years in Premier League, but Klopp has had the impact that, and also personality, right? Like he's just he's a nut job when he comes to the conferences and when he's talking to his players. Those reactions when those goals happen. I think Klopp, for me, by far, like this squad can either be handled by Klopp or Guardiola.
Them to no titles whatsoever. I mean, he can do that with such an awesome squad.
Yeah, he can absolutely, if you need two managers who can manage the squad to begin with are Pep and Klopp. Right?
I think we can just put Sir Alex Ferguson in because he won 2 titles with a pretty average side at the start of the decade.
So the obvious choices would be Mourinho or Guardiola or Klopp.
Yeah, I like how you slid in Mourinho. No one was looking.
Come on, he's performed. Yeah, come on.
Respect.
How about Mauricio Pochettino?
No, man.
No, Spurs.
No.
Wrong person to ask.
South
Karthik,
African. There's South Africa football there. Chokers.
Okay, how about Claudio Ranieri?
Because Leicester.
No, he's a good manager overall. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, he was also Chelsea manager.
Chelsea manager, Leicester
That was
manager.
long ago.
But he does not in the league of Klopp and Pep.
No, he's not. And we have such an awesome side. Just like Fulham had last season. And the guy came and got us relegated.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you got relegated.
No
Ranieri ki galti hai. Correct.
Everybody is getting it wrong. Na? All publications are not figured.
Yeah. Correct. So let's do a 3-way. So pick one, Klopp or
Ferguson or Pep?
Ferguson? Why is Ferguson?
Ferguson?
You guys don't think so? No, I thought the
2010s.
achievement was good.
No, he'll play the Legends manager, na?
हाँ वो FIFA में आएगा ऐसा
Director of football.
Director of football. हाँ.
और जूता उता मारेगा किसको?
So between Pep and Klopp, Karthik, who's your pick?
I think we need to show Liverpool a bit more love, so I'll go with the Jurgen Klopp, Sapre. And I think he'll be more fun than Pep.
Exactly, he'll be more fun, yeah.
Jurgen Klopp.
So you're also saying Jurgen Klopp?
Yeah.
So wow, we all agree that Jurgen Klopp should manage the squad. Lucky you, Mr. Klopp, if you're listening in.
They do. City and Liverpool are big fans. Of
of course they are.
Okay. Let's be nice to everybody. We'll put Klopp as the manager. We'll put Arteta as the assistant manager.
Nice.
Super.
Very inclusive, very inclusive. I love it. I love
Sab khush, main khush, tum khush.
One more Arsenal player came in. So I'm just happy.
Now to get sponsors.
Correct.
Yeah.
So though I love the squad, man. I wouldn't want to imagine if Karthik don't go back and go to edit mode in FIFA and start making this team. Because all of them are old now in the league.
For anyone who's probably just listened to the end, shall we just read out the squad once
Go for
again?
it. Yeah, go for it.
So, as goalkeeper, we have David De Gea. At right back, it's Cesar Azpilicueta. Central defense, it's a partnership of Robert Huth and Vincent Kompany.
Yeah.
At left back, we're going old school. We're going Patrice Evra. In the centre of midfield, we have N'Golo Conte and Yaya Toure. On the left wing, cutting in, we have Eden Hazard. On the right wing, doing what he does best, being an inside striker, we have Mo Salah. Two up front, Robin Van Persie and Sergio Aguero. They'll score you at least a minimum of 5 goals every game. And we have a pretty interesting bench as well. Our second choice keeper is Thibaut Courtois. We have Branislav Ivanovic. Guys, go look him up. He was an awesome defender. He can play at right back as well. Also scary. We have Leighton Baines, who is a very consistent, very stable left back. We have Kevin De Bruyne, who can come in and provide that spark. We have David Silva as well in case the team is like 2-1 up and they need a bit of calming down.
Or they're 9-0 up and you just want someone to just roll around on the pitch and just like move the ball around.
Yeah, and we have Jamie Vardy there because off the bench, this guy can
fire
any side to victory.
Or a player.
And James Milner, because my God, at his age, his fitness, he's also a 2-time Premier League winner. The guy is a beast.
Yeah.
So we're happy with our team. And we have a manager.
And an assistant manager.
Because we're very democratic.
Inclusive.
Yeah, we're going with Jurgen Klopp as manager. And we're bringing in Mikel Arteta from
assistant
Pep Guardiola's
manager.
hands. And we're bringing him in as our assistant manager. The poor guy will never get promoted to manager. But it looks
No, Guardiola. Arteta. No, Guardiola just mentioned, right? Arteta will succeed when
but you're talking about reality. This is the 2010s.
Oh, my bad.
Klopp will live forever.
So, guys, do you agree with our team? As Shivram said, use the hashtag Football Shootball 11 or just Football Shootball?
For hashtag Football Shootball, you can put that title your page as Football Shootball 11 maybe.
And let us know. Write your team down. Probably write it in a tweet as well. Just write the team down.
Yeah. Do what everyone else does. Open your phone, write it in notes, take a screenshot, and then wherever it goes.
But the condition being no Paul Pogba.
No, minimum requirement is Paul Pogba hoga to directly cancel ho jayega. So that was fantastic. I mean, that's a very, very hard side to beat unless we see the tweets which will come in.
FPL will get 150 points every week on this.
Sir, every one of them is some 12 million. You will buy 4 players and you'll be stuck with Lundstram at the back who'll get 1 assist in 3 weeks.
Kelly.
Who won't even start. मतलब 4 से 4.1 था फिर अभी वापस 4 हो गया. Anyway, so fantastic guys. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, which you absolutely should, I'm Fickleberry Hun on Twitter and Instagram. That's Huckleberry Finn, but Fickle.
And if you want to reach out to me on Twitter, it's Sapre, S-A-P-R-E, and on Instagram, it's G Sapre.
You can reach out to me at iRant, which is IYERANT on Twitter and Instagram. This is Football Shootball. Recognize.
Hi, I'm Satyajit.
Hi, I'm Racheta.
We are from the Open Library Project and we host a podcast called Paperback.
Paperback is a podcast where we engage with stalwarts and experts from various industries, suggesting non-fiction titles that contributed to their journey in a big way.
We've had guests like Anjali Raina, Dr. Marcus Rani, Dr. Swati Lodha, Ambi Parmeswaran, Apurva Damani, and many more on our show Paperback. Find new episodes every Wednesday on IVM Podcast app, website, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Careers in the new podcast series presented by Accenture, and I'm your host Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay. In this podcast series, we'll get you the latest and greatest in the world of technology that's shaping the future of business as we know it. We're talking intelligent platforms, cloud, AI, blockchain, extended reality, and a whole lot more. Every fortnight on Wednesdays, we'll have for you a hot topic with expert speakers from Accenture talking about top trends in the space, how these are changing the world and creating growth across industries. And more importantly, we'll tell you how you can learn more, build your skills and expertise to grow and stay relevant in your career. Episodes out on the IVM Podcast app or wherever you get your podcast from.